Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 13th chapter. He that toucheth pitch shall be defiled therewith, and he that hath fellowship with a proud man shall be like unto him. Right? If you go and touch pitch, it's gonna get on you, right? It's gonna make you dirty. Likewise, if you go and associate with a proud man, or really a wicked or ungodly person, eventually they're gonna, as the saying goes, rub off on you. Verse 2, burden not thyself above thy power, right? Don't try to do too much, knowing that you don't have the means to, while thou livest, and have no fellowship with one that is mightier and richer than thyself. Don't try to, you're hanging around those that are not in your league. Why? For how agree the kettle and the earthen pot together? For if, and you would liken onto the earthen pot, right? That's made of clay, and this is dealing with an iron kettle, right? So it says, for if the one be smitten against the other, it shall be broken. Meaning, if you were to get into a disagreement, or a back and forth with them, you're gonna lose, okay? Because they are mightier than you. The rich man have done wrong, and yet he threateneth withal, because he has money, right? So he can do wrong and still threaten. The poor is wronged, and he must entreat also. The poor gets done wrong, and he has to basically entreat or beg, for justice. Okay, nobody comes immediately rushing to his aid. Verse 4, if thou be for his profit, this is dealing with the rich man, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. Yeah, because that's what they do. That's if there's a benefit, they're called opportunists, right? If they can see an opportunity or there's a benefit, they can gain from you, then they're going to use you. But if there's nothing they can gain from you, they won't even hear a word you have to say. Verse 5, if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it, right? So he'll make himself close to you, and then he's going to, basically suck you dry of everything you have, right? He's going to make you bear and not be sorry for it. And here it is, you're basically losing out on everything you have for their benefit, and you're not getting anything back. And once you don't have anything left, then they leave. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. See, because he needs something. He needs your help, or he needs you to do something for him. He's going to make it seem like he's your closest ally. He will speak thee fair, right? Speak well to you and say, what wantest thou? Anything you need, just let me know. I got it. I got your back. I'm here for you. He will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. And the shaming by the meats, basically what it's saying here is, let me finish the verse and then we'll go into it. It says, and at the last he will laugh thee to scorn afterward. When he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee. So basically what it's saying here is he'll flatter you, right? He'll entertain you. He'll make you feel, like you're honored. But he's only doing that to set you up so he can drain you. And then after that, you're going to be discarded. Okay? Because when it says here, the shame with meats, remember, dealing with the rich man, in the ancient world, right, which, is still the case today, but wealthy men, one of the ways they display their wealth is through lavish meals, right, or a banquet, or holding some party. Okay, so when he shames you by his meats is by basically overwhelming you with that luxury, right, that luxurious environment and treatment, knowing that you can't reciprocate that, right, and basically making you feel inferior. And so as it says, once, twice, 3 times, and then once you don't have anything left, because he is basically taking advantage, and whatever it is that he needs from you, he has gotten. Then he's going to discard you, right? He's going to laugh you to scorn because you couldn't keep up. And when he sees you, he will forsake you and shake his head at you, almost like he doesn't know you. And because you thought he was a natural friend, but you didn't realize you were being used. Verse 8, it says here, beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity, right? Basically, don't let the deception of joy deceive you. If thou be invited of a mighty man, withdraw thyself, and so much the more he will invite thee. Right. So, the more you're invited, and if you're invited, you're just like something comes up, or you don't go, or you say, I'm sorry, I can't make it. They're gonna want you there all the more, because it's like, yo, every time we're doing something, this person's not here. We want to see them, right? We want them here. Verse 10, press not upon him, right? So don't be clingy, lest thou be put back, because that's going to make them want to push you away. Stand not afar off, lest thou be forgotten. So don't be too distant, lest they completely forget about you. You want to be right every so often, every blue moon, every so often you be there. So it's a good balance. Verse 11, affect not to be made equal unto him in talk. So don't try to make yourself equal with him, and believe not his many words, right? Don't be fooled by his words. For with much communication will he tempt thee, and smiling upon thee will get out thy secrets. So he'll speak nicely, politely, try to get you to let your guard down and find out what's in your mind. Was it in your mind? So you got to be careful what you say. But cruelly he will lay up thy words, meaning he's going to keep that in mind. Not for your best interest, but for his best interest, which is against yours, and will not spare to do thee hurt and to put thee in prison. If he can get any advantage over you, when the time comes when he doesn't need you anymore, you're not in agreement with him, he's going to use that against you. Verse 13, observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in peril of thy overthrowing. When thou hearest these things, awake in thy sleep. So this, if you're in this situation, take very good heed to this advice, because you might be on the brink of your overthrowing. And when you hear this, let it wake you up in your sleep. Be that concerned about it. Verse 14, love the Lord all thy life, and call upon him for thy salvation. Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. That is, his like, meaning those that are similar to them. And that's why they, like, if there's like a creature or species, and there's one that is born with a mutation, they're outcasted. Okay, because everybody clings on to their own. That's what it means by every man loveth his neighbor, him that is like him or near to him. All flesh consorteth according to kind. So let's look at that word consorteth. Yeah, it says it's an archaic third person singular present, meaning to associate or keep company with, right? So, as it says, all flesh, they keep company with their kind, right? They hang around their kind. And a man will cleave to his like. What fellowship hath the wolf with the lamb? So the sinners with the godly. See, so sinners hang around with sinners, like the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. Okay, sinners hang around with sinners, and godly hang around with godly, right? Can two walk together except they be agreed? A lamb is not going to walk into the midst of a wolf's a pack and start hanging out, trying to how. The wolves are going to be like, you're cooked, and they're going to eat them. Okay, verse 18, it says here, what agreement is there between the hyena and a dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor? You are not of the same like. As the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. So if you're trying to hang around the rich and you're not in their category, you're going to be like a prey onto them. Verse 20, as the proud hate humility, so doth the rich abhor the poor. You see that? Somebody that's proud, you humble them and see how they react. They're going to be like a kid that you pulled a candy or lollipop out their mouth. Okay? So doth the rich abhor the poor. A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends. See, because he has money. So, the second, things are not going well, everybody's there to, oh, no, let's make sure you're good, you're all right. But somebody that's poor, even when you're down, your friends they're out. Okay, you barely have anybody to your aid. When a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, yet men justify him. So he says things that ought not to be said, And yet people try to justify him. Oh, no, 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 that's not what he meant. Or, you know him, the poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. See, so the rich man does it deliberately, he's justified. The poor man by accident, they rebuke him. He spake wisely and could have no place. Even when speaking wisely, they didn't even want to give him space to talk. That's unfortunately that's how the world is. People are respective persons. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. So everybody's quiet. And look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds. He may say something very simple, but because he's looked at as a man of importance or a rich man, they esteem it really, really high. Like he said something deep. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him, right? If he was to even slip, say one thing by accident, immediately, hey, look, see, why? That's why we told him. That's why we didn't give him a place to talk in the first place. And we, right now, as prophets of the Lord, as teachers, are likened unto the poor man. Because so many things we have been telling people, we've been warning, we've been prophesying about. And you know what? As it says, we don't even have place. But let some Edomite on TikTok, or some more popular mainstream media come and say the same thing, and now it's going viral. It says, riches are good unto him that hath no sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. Yeah, because him that have no sin, living a righteous life, they're not going to use their riches for wickedness. But poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly, because they can't fathom a life, of poverty, of being humbled. So they speak evil of it. They despise it. Right? We read up above about how, where is it? The rich abhor the poor. The heart of a man changeth his countenance. Right? Basically, if you're thinking something, right, and it's negative, it'll show on your face. And if it's positive, it'll show on your face. Whether it be for good or evil, and a merry heart, right, a joyful mind, a cheerful countenance. It'll make you smile. It'll make you happy. When you're just there and you just remember something that's like really, really good, something you're looking forward to, and then you get happy, you smile. A cheerful countenance is a token or a sign of a heart that is in prosperity, right? So when you see somebody that's really happy or they're smiling, you already know that, hey, something good has happened, or what are you thinking about? What's got you smiling so much? That they're in a good mood. That's how we call it. And the finding out of parables is a wearisome labor of the mind. Yeah, because you got to study, you got to, think about it and try to understand, okay, well, what does this mean? And, so it's wearisome, okay, on your mind. But, when you find it out, it's refreshing. Okay, it makes it all worth it. And that brings us to the end of the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 13th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachah Kodesh. And until next time, Shalom.